Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for another Journaling on a Budget video. And today we are going to make a film strip side tuck or belly band. And this is what it looks like. And the way that I did this was I had purchased a what do you call that? A tab punch that was supposed to punch out tabs, but when you punched them out, they only punched half of the tab. And so what I did was I took a piece of book paper and folded it in half, and then I was punching out those tabs from just a half a sheet of the paper. Well, actually I folded it in half and then I ripped it in half, and then I would get two pieces of paper to punch my tabs out of. And after I punched them out and opened them up, I thought that it reminded me of kind of like a film strip. And so I just went ahead and I edged it and then chose some pictures out of a magazine to put in there, and I really loved the way that it looks. I did one, I couldn't find it to show you, but I did one where there was a lady walking in a field of birch trees in the snow. Or actually, I should not say a field because it was all birch trees. But it was a beautiful picture, and she fit with herself and a couple of the birch trees in one of these lines. And then I did the next set of the picture with just birch trees and the snow in it, and put those both together, and they're just so pretty. But you know, you can do them very odd and funky, like all lips or all eyes, or, you know, however you want to do it. But they're just kind of fun. And then you can use them as a side tuck. You can put them on, gluing them at the top at the bottom, and use them as a belly band. And so I'm just going to show you how you can do it without having, you don't have to have a punch. And as a matter of fact, after I bought that punch, because I really wanted tabs, I wound up cutting my own tabs after that because I really didn't like how that punch worked. So, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Take one book paper, and because we're not using the punch, I'm not going to rip it in half because I want this back piece. So what we're going to do is fold that book page in half, or any kind of paper. It doesn't have to be book pages. And then we're going to fold half of that to the center, so that the back side is flat and then this side is folded in half. And then what I did was I had just looked at like the shape of this because I like the shape of this, and I did practice with some others. Here's the one that's kind of like the shape like that, and then I did an oval and a square, and I did one with 3 squares on it, but I I just like this shape. So I just looked at that shape and I cut one out. And after I cut it out, then I had a template. So I'm just going to take this template. What I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to color it black because it'll be easier to see on the book paper when I'm trying to cut it out. Because when I was doing this earlier, it kind of blends in with the book pages. And so it was harder to see. And then just go ahead, and I just started at the top and just put the fold on the fold of my folded half piece, and then just cut around it. Just like this. And you just kind of want to try and stay on it as best as you can so that all 3 look pretty much alike. And now we have this shape. And then after doing that one, I went to the bottom, and always use the same one as your template, even if you don't color it black, because each one will get a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. They'll change shapes. So you always want to use the same one to keep them as close to each other as possible. So I did one at the top, and then I went down to the bottom and just kind of did about the same distance from bottom to top. And then cut that one out, and then you can just center your middle one. If you don't want to measure, that's kind of the easiest way to do it, instead of trying to figure out where are your thirds of the page and how big is the tab that you're cutting out. This way you can just estimate it and it looks really good. And then once you do this, you're also going to wind up with tabs to play with. So it's a twofer. So there's the two of them, and then I'm just going to do the last one and just kind of put it on there and eyeball where the center is, you know, between here and here, and cut out the last one. And then for these, so far every time I've made them, I've just went ahead and got my pictures out of magazines. But you could also just make these, and you could put real pictures of people that you know in there, to put in a journal or something. And or you can use pictures out of a book. You can do it any way that you would like. And my dad always took slides when we were children, so that's just really kind of what this reminded me of. Okay, and so now we have that cut out, and it looks like that. So we've got our little sections. Now, depending on how big your paper is, you can, you know, have more or less, or how big you make your holes, or what shape you make your holes. You can do it any way you want to. And then what I do is I just go through a magazine, and I take this and I hold it up and I say, well, that's a pretty flower, but it cuts off too much. You know, it just doesn't give me enough. And it's like, well, that one's not too bad because you can see the background. So that's pretty good. So then I would just kind of rip out that piece. And that one's so-so, you know. And so I would just go through the magazine. And then once I found a picture that I really liked, like here's a little dinosaur. And if I say, oh, I really like him, then I would try and find two more pictures that kind of went with my dinosaur. And so here are a few sets of things that I had chosen earlier. I just have, this is just a purple background, and I liked it because it matched these flowers that I found, and these flowers went together. And then what I do is I just kind of hold them up and I say, well, how do I want to do that? You know, do I want to, like, first I'm going to open this back up. And we do have this half page here still for a reason. So, but then I say, okay, well, do I want those there? And then maybe put this one in the middle, and then put this one at the top. And how do I like the way that looks? And it looks pretty good, except for some reason I don't like these two together this way, but I think I might like it this way because this one is the least full of the two sets of flowers. So to me, that should be at the beginning. So like that, and then like that, and then with this one on the bottom. And I do like the way that that looks better. So that's the order I would put those in. And then I had some that, I had this one where I loved the looks of this fire. And I just, well, or, you know, it's kind of supposed to look like steam or flames. And I thought that that was really, really cool. And I'm going to keep that for one, but I didn't find a couple other pictures to go with it. So I won't be doing anything with that today. But then I found these two decorations. I'm not exactly sure what they are. And I needed another. I wanted something else round. So then I found this, which is the front of a washing machine. And so I thought those three would go together. And then here I have a vase of pink flowers and another vase of pink flowers. These are pink. These are pink and white. And then I found some white flowers, and those look really nice together too. So you just go through and you choose. I'll show you how this one looks, but we'll do the purple flowers. But you could put this one here, and then put this one in the middle because it's more that size, and then it's darker. So these two kind of go together because they're kind of the same size, and then this one goes with this one because they're both a darker color. And when you get them in there, they look totally different than they would look, you know, when you're just kind of looking at them. So that's why you have to hold this up to see if you really think you'll like it. And I do like that. That almost reminds me of black and white photography. So that's how I choose what I'm going to put in them. And then what I do is I usually start with the middle one. And I want to make sure that it's going to fit where I want it. So I'm going to cut a little of this off because I want it to go over further. put that in like that, and I like that just like it is. Now it's not sticking up on the top or the bottom, so I can glue it in. If it was sticking out on the top or the bottom, you'd want to go ahead and cut that off before you started to do your gluing. I need to get my glue stick kind of started. And that was right where I wanted it, so I'm going to leave it right there. And I'm going to put my glue, making sure that you get these little tabs glued. I'll put glue around there. Hold that down and then just fold it back over to catch. Now I have to be careful because I put a lot of glue on there, which is going to be at the top and at the bottom. And I don't want it to stick down, so I need to get that opened back up really quickly. And straighten this picture out a little bit. There we go. So now I have that one where I want it. Now I want this one next. And I know for sure I have to cut some of this white off this edge. And it's okay that this comes down since we've got that middle picture in there. And I think that's right about where I want that one. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that. Making sure I get it leveled out nicely, or flattened out, I guess I should say. And actually what I normally would do is I would edge around this. I probably would use a purple to edge around that. And I should have done that before we started, but I didn't, so it's too late now. I'll have to figure out something later. Now I need to cut off some of the edge of this one. See where it is that I want that. I think I want it right there. And I'm going to cut off the bottom after I glue this one in. So I'm going to glue this one in here. And I just think they look really cute. It just reminds me of my childhood. Slides and looking at the long strips of film was just something that was a big part of our childhood. Even my niece, my dad's granddaughter, wrote a poem for him, and in that poem it talked about watching Grandpa's slides. There we go. And that's what it looks like. Now what I'm going to do, the reason I left this half a page here is because if I want to do this as a tuck or as a belly band, I don't want this all over the back. So it was just as easy to leave this piece here, and then I can just glue it down. It will grab my magazine pages. It will give me a nice flat back. And there we go. And that's what it looks like. Then you can stick it in as a belly band. You can stick it in as a tuck spot. You can put a solid piece on the back, kind of corner your edges, or you don't even really have to corner them, and you could turn it into a tag to slide into something. And that's what it looks like. And I just really love the way that they look. So I just thought that I would bring that to you and show you how I make those. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I really like making these, and it's something that I had punched out so many of these that I had a bunch of them to play with, and I would just sit in the evening in my chair and you know, grab some magazines on my lap and just go through and pick out things that I thought went nice together. So thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.